Start your game development journey in your mobile with this step-by-step course. We'll be creating this amazing game using GODOT mobile, in which the player has to dodge some enemies. It seems quite simple, but anyway, you'll learn a lot. This video is just one part of the full course, but you can find the full course in the description down below. Let's start. What's our game lacking? Some user interface. The final piece our game needs is a user interface, or also known as UI, to display things like score, a game over message, and a restart button. So let's create a new scene, and we will add a canvas layer. Okay, and I will name it HUD, which stands for Heads Up Display. This is an informational display that appears as an overlay on top of the game view. The canvas layer node lets us draw our UI elements on a layer above the rest of the game, so that the information it displays isn't covered up by any game elements like the player or mobs. So as usual, we will have here to create some nodes. Firstly, we will need a label that is basically used to display text, and we will name it score label because this is gonna display our score. Then we will also need another label, but this time it's gonna be called message. Then we will also need a button. We have used before in the course a button to create the player UI, and we're gonna name it start button. Okay, finally we will need another timer. In this case I'm gonna name it message timer. We will click on our score label. Okay, and as you can see, when I type here in our text, for example, hello, as you can see, the font is not super cool, so we're gonna modify that by scrolling down a little bit. Then here on theme overrides, we can see here fonts, and here we can load on our fonts. We have here the font that we have downloaded at the beginning. Then in our font sizes, we're gonna increase it to 64 like this, and always check this box. Also remember to save your scene, and we're gonna repeat the exact same process but in our message, which means going to theme overrides, fonts, and loading the font. Also in the font sizes, we're gonna check that and set it to 64. So now we're gonna set our score label text to 0, then our message to your game title. In my case, it's gonna be like the default name, that is dodge the creeps, like this. And finally in our start button, I'm just gonna type here start. Now in my score label, I'm gonna set my horizontal and vertical alignment to center. Then I'm gonna do the same thing but in my message, both in center. I'm gonna set the auto wrap mode to word. Under control, we're gonna find here layout, transform. We're gonna set its X size to 480 to use the entire width of the screen. Then we will click here on this icon right here, and we're gonna center it on our screen. On our start button, we're gonna select it firstly. Now we're gonna go to layout, transform, and on our X we're gonna set it to 200, and in our Y it's gonna be 100. We're gonna set the anchor preset to center bottom, and then we're gonna set its Y position to 540. Okay, then finally on our score label we're gonna set the anchor to top center. Okay, of course you can modify this UI as you wish. Now on our message timer we're gonna set the wait time to 2. Okay, and we're gonna set the one shot property to on. Now we will add this script to the root node, again an empty script, and we're gonna create a new signal that's gonna be named start game. This signal is gonna be called when the button is pressed, when the start button is pressed. We now want to display the message temporarily, such as get ready or something like that. So we're gonna add the following code: func show message. We're gonna get there a parameter text that is gonna be the text that we're gonna display on our message. So we're gonna set our message text to the text as a parameter. I mean this text right here. Then we're gonna show the message, and finally we're gonna start our message timer. We also need to process what happens when the player loses. So again we will need another function, in this case show game over, and here we will call the show message function with the message we want to show when you lose. In my case it's gonna be game over. Then we will have to wait until the message timer has counted down. In order to do that we will write here a wait, and we want to wait until what? Until our message timer reaches, let's say, the timeout. Then we will set our message text to dodge the creeps, and what we are gonna show this message as well. Now we have to make a one-shot timer and wait for it to finish. So again a wait, but we're gonna use get tree dot create timer of just 1 second, and again we're gonna connect the timeout, and after that second we're gonna show the start button. Now we will also need to create another function, update score, that is gonna take a score, and we're gonna use that score to update our score label text. But before setting our score to our text, we have to say str score. Why? Because our score is an integer, it's a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But our text of our score label requires a string. Okay, so we convert an int into a string using this method. Now we're gonna connect our start button pressed signal. Okay, and in this function we are gonna firstly hide our start button, and then we're gonna emit the signal that we created at the beginning, okay, because the game has started. Then we're gonna connect our message timer timeout, and in this case we are just gonna hide our message. Okay, so message hide, like this. Now let's instantiate our HUD into our main scene, like this. Open. Now we need to connect the HUD functionality to our main script. So in our HUD, we're gonna connect our start game to our main script, but the receiver method in this case is gonna be the new game function. Okay, new game, like this. Okay, now we have done so. Remember that on our ready we used to call the new game there, but that's not necessary anymore as we are calling it on the receiver method. Okay, so we can just delete that. Also in our new game, we will have to update the score display and show the get ready message. So we are gonna call our HUD dot update score method that we have created before, and here we are gonna pass our score. Then we're gonna again call the HUD, but this time it's gonna be show message, and the message is gonna be get ready. Now let's go to the game over function, and here we need to call the corresponding HUD function, which is just the show game over. So HUD dot show game over. Now when we add 1 to our score, we want to also update our score in our user interface, so we call again HUD dot update score. Okay, in our ready function of our player we are gonna hide ourselves. So now when we start playing, as you can see, well, firstly we have to fix the start text, but besides that we also see here the buttons, the player buttons, so we also have to fix that. But well, let's try to play. Okay, get ready, and well, as you can see here we have a pretty functional game. Well, I lost there, but as you can see here the game restarts and we can play over and over again. However, I'm gonna show you something, and is that when I lose, as you can see, and I start playing again, the mobs aren't like eliminated, so we should probably delete them. I mean, for example, there are collide, and as you can see that these enemies aren't deleted, so we have to fix that. But okay, firstly let's go to the HUD scene and let's fix this start message. So start button, theme overrides, fonts. Here I'm gonna quick load the font, and in font sizes I'm gonna set it to I don't know, 32 maybe. So let's check it now, a little bit bigger, maybe 64 as well, should be okay. Yes. So now in order to fix the thing with the player UI, firstly on our main scene, when we show the get ready message, I will also like to show my player UI so that I could start moving, and then I want to hide it on my game over. So let me check here. I'm gonna call here player UI dot hide in this case. So now as you can see when I start playing, well, it's still there. So yes, because on the ready you have to hide it, of course. So here our main scene, I think I don't have here ready, I don't remember, no. So let's just here create our ready function that is called when we start playing, and I'm gonna hide it. Now as you can see, we don't see the player UI. When we click here start, we can see it and we can start moving. And well, now as you can see, game over, we can't move anymore. And when we click start, we can start moving again. As I was telling you a couple of minutes ago, if you play until game over and then start a new game right away, the creeps from the previous game may still be on the screen. It would be better if they all disappear at the start of a new game. So this is very simple to do. We're gonna go to the mob scene. We're gonna select the mob, go to node, groups, and here we're gonna add it to a new group. In this case, it's gonna be mobs. Now all mobs that we create will be in the mobs group and we can just delete them whenever we want. So we're gonna come back to the script, to the main script, and on our new game, we're gonna just erase them. In order to do so, we're gonna call getTree dot call group, and here firstly we need the group name. As you can see here is mobs, and then the method, and the method we want to call is q free, okay, free, like this. The call group function calls the named function on every node in a group. In this case, we are telling every mob to delete itself. Now let's start playing again. As you can see, I can move and everything like that. But when I collide, okay, and a new game starts, as you can see, all the mobs are deleted. Well, actually, when I click the start, they are all deleted, okay? But okay, I'm gonna do so, and let's see if I can catch this one. As you can see, it was deleted. Also, another thing that I think I've noticed is that if I die while moving and I start playing again, as you can see, it starts like going up. So let's fix that. Well, the solution is quite simple. On our start method in our player, we're gonna set our can't move to false, and then we're gonna set our velocity to vector 2.0. So now let's try it out. I can move as usual, and okay, here I lose while moving, and as you can see, my player doesn't goes on that direction, and everything seems to be working just fine. The game's mostly done at this point, but in the next and last section of the course, we'll polish it a bit by adding a background looping music. So firstly, the first thing I like to do is to change the background color, because that gray I don't really like it. So we're gonna go to the main scene. So here we're gonna add on our main node a color rect, like this, and this is basically a node to create a color, and we're gonna make it the first node on our hierarchy to be drawn behind the other nodes. So as you can see, it only has one property, that is the color, and of course you can change this color to be whatever you want, but in my case the color I have is this one, okay? So I'm just gonna paste it right here, and well, this is the color, but as you can see, it doesn't fit like all the screen. So we're just gonna here select the anchor and full ratio. Now let's add a couple of sound effects. So we're gonna add to children of the main. These are gonna be audio stream player, okay, used to play audios, and one is gonna be our music, and other one, okay, is gonna be again another audio stream player, and in this case this is gonna be death sound. Now here on the stream, this is the audio that is gonna play. So we have here the music, so I'm gonna quick load. We have here house in a forest loop, so this is the music, and the death sound, we have it also like right here, game over, okay? All audio is automatically imported with the loop setting disabled. If you want the music to loop seamlessly, we will have to go here to the music. Now here click on this arrow and we will select here make unique, and then click right here and turn on loop. Now we are gonna go to our scripts, and on our new game function we are gonna play our music. So this is gonna be music playing, and in our game over we are gonna stop it. This is right here, so music stop. And also here in the game over we're gonna play the game over sound. Well, and that's how the final game would look like. Thanks a lot for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more content. You have the link to watch the full course in the description down below. See you!